Okay, in Chapter 10 we're going to look at some different types of functions. First two sections we'll be doing some graphing and then we'll go on from that. Um, so the graph of a square root function. Remember that the square root of any number has got to be positive because you can't have a square root that is negative. Even though when we find roots we have two values that can make it squared, when we do the square root it's always going to be positive. For that reason the graphs will always be where x is greater than or equal to 0. And the typical square root function, if you think about it, we're going to put some numbers in here and get some results for x and y. So x, y, 0, 0, 1, 1. And then we go to 4 and 2. And then we go to 9 and 3. And then we go to 16 and 4. So we'll see that the x values increase quite a bit while it's going to stay fairly flat because the y values will only increase by 1 each time. So we want to look at the domain of the square root function. F of x is equal to 3 square root x minus 5. Okay, so what's going to happen with this minus 5 in here? The graph that we see is going to shift 5 units to the right. So our x values are going to be greater than or equal to 5. The 3 in front is only going to stretch that and make the y values 3 times bigger each time. And still it'll change that same way. The range is still going to be y is greater than or equal to 0. So we want to describe the range of this function. So I'm not going to put the graph in here, but the normal square root function looks like that. This one's going to be moved 3 units up and then go. So the range is going to be y is greater than or equal to 3. So anything that's added after the radical is going to shift up or down the graph. So we want to look at the domain of the first 3 functions. The domains are, for number 1 is x is greater than or equal to 0 because it doesn't have anything that's going to move it right or left. Number 2 has the 7 afterwards, but that's going to shift it up or down. So number 2 is still going to be x is greater than or equal to 0. Number 3, because of that negative or the 1 inside, it's actually going to go backwards and it's going to be x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Remember, we use the negative value of h. Okay, looking at the next ones, it asks me to graph and state the range. I'm not going to graph or ask you to graph, but we know that this one's going to shift 4 units down because of the negative 4 there. So our y values are going to be greater than or equal to negative 4. Our x, the graph of 5, still is going to be y is greater than or equal to 0. But what's going to happen is the graph would shift 5 units to the left. And number 6 still stays y is greater than or equal to 0. And it will still have 0, 0 as its origin. So here's some things that can happen. If you have a negative h, so under the radical, you have something that is either added or subtracted, it moves the opposite direction of what the sign would do. So If you have an x minus 2, it's going to move 2 units to the right. If you have x plus 3, it's moving 3 units to the left. If you have a number added or subtracted after the radical, it's going to move it up or down. Okay. If you have a negative inside the radical, the graph is going to flip over the y-axis. So instead of going out and to the right, it's going to go out and to the left. And if you have a negative in front of the radical, it's going to flip over the x-axis and would still go out to the right. And then anything in front of the variable inside the radical is going to work the opposite way. So if you have a bigger number, it's going to shrink the output by the reciprocal of that number. So 3 times x is going to shrink it by 1/3. 1/2 x is going to stretch it by 2. And then if you have outside, they actually stretch by what they are multiplying. Okay, we want to compare the two square root graphs. So we know that square root x is like this. We know that the negative is going to move it, and we're going to go 2 units to the right, and it's going to look something like that for negative radical x minus 2. So again, it goes across the x-axis because of the negative in front of the radical, and it moves 2 units to the right because of the negative 2 inside the radical. Alright, so what we have here is going to be just like the vertex form of a quadratic equation. So if we look at this graph, it's going to move 2 units to the right, and it's going to go, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's going to go 3 units to the right, and it's going to go down 2 units, and it's got a factor of negative 2, so it's going to go down like this and be stretched up a little bit higher. And that's how you get there. Here is the original square root function.